Okay, so you want to buy an automated car wash. Find a busy corner, build a long glass tunnel, install thousands of gallons of pressurized water sprayers and rotating foam brushes, and charge drivers $20 a pop to make their cars shiny. But here's the strange part. A modern car wash isn't actually in the cleaning business. It is a high-margin, recurring software-style subscription engine, operating on a physical strip of real estate. In fact, it's a business where washing an individual vehicle costs less than $2 in raw consumables, yet customers willingly hand over $30 every single month, whether they wash their car 4 times or 0 times. And it's also the exact asset class where Wall Street private equity firms are currently quietly dropping tens of billions of dollars to consolidate local operators into regional monopolies. Anyway, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how that's possible, how automated car wash tunnels actually make money on the inside, why rainy weather used to ruin the business but no longer matters, how the unit economics scale to an 80% gross margin, and why even with near-guaranteed math, inexperienced operators still end up bankrupt on an empty plot of wet asphalt. To understand where the real money is made, you first have to realize that not all car washes are built the same. In fact, the industry is split into 3 distinct models, and they are completely different businesses under the hood. First, you have the traditional self-serve bay wash. You put 4 quarters into a metal box, grab a high-pressure wand yourself, and spray down your car in 5 minutes. These cost around $200,000 to $400,000 to build, and while they have almost 0 labor costs, their earnings ceiling is painfully low, maxing out at around $50,000 to $80,000 a year in profit. Second, you have the in-bay automatic, the kind you find attached to a corner gas station. You pull in, park, and a robotic arch moves around your stationary car. Building one costs around $500,000 to $800,000. It's a nice passive side hustle for a gas station owner, but it's fundamentally throttled by speed. It can only wash about 10 to 12 cars per hour. If a line of 6 cars forms, the 7th customer gets frustrated and drives away. And that brings us to the king of the industry, the express exterior tunnel car wash. This is a massive 100 to 150 foot conveyorized tunnel where a car is pulled along a track through a continuous assembly line of arches, soaps, scrubbers, wax applicators, and high-velocity dryers. Building a modern express tunnel from the ground up requires anywhere from $3.5 million to over $6 million. You're buying a prime half-acre corner parcel along a high-traffic road, pouring heavy reinforced concrete, installing specialized water reclamation systems, and dropping over $1.5 million just on the mechanical equipment inside the tunnel. But here's why that massive upfront capital expenditure changes everything. Speed and throughput. A top-tier express tunnel doesn't wash 10 cars an hour. It can wash over 150 cars every single hour. During peak weekend rushes, a car rolls off the conveyor belt every 24 seconds. Now, spending $4 or $5 million on a giant mechanical tunnel sounds intimidating until you look at how the money actually flows in. Here's the thing. In a traditional retail business, you spend years fighting for foot traffic, praying that the weather is nice, and hoping customers feel like buying today. 10 years ago, car washes suffered from the exact same weather volatility. If it rained for 3 days straight, a car wash owner made $0 while their land lease and equipment loans ticked along unchanged. But then, the industry discovered the holy grail of modern commerce, the unlimited wash club subscription model. Instead of relying on single retail washes for $15 or $20, express tunnels offer a monthly membership. For $30 a month, roughly the price of 2 single washes, a driver gets unlimited access to the tunnel. To the consumer, it feels like an unbeatable deal. If you wash your car 3 or 4 times a month, you're beating the system. But to the car wash operator, This completely flips the psychology of the customer and stabilizes the entire financial foundation of the business. Look at the underlying numbers. The average unlimited club member doesn't actually wash their car every day. In reality, member usage follows a predictable bell curve, averaging about 2.8 visits per month. When you break down the variable marginal cost of pulling a car through a fully automated tunnel, it is shockingly cheap. Water costs about 60 cents per wash, thanks to modern filtration systems that recycle up to 80% of the water used. Soaps, waxes, and spot-free rinse chemicals add another 40 cents. The electricity to run the massive 50-horsepower blowers costs about 45 cents per vehicle. Add in a sliver of wear and tear, and the physical variable cost to wash a single car is right around $1.50 to $2. Think about what that means for a $30 monthly subscription. The customer visits 3 times, consuming less than $6 in direct variable costs. That leaves $24 of pure gross profit floating straight to the operator from a single member. Now, scale that up. A well-located express tunnel Target aims to recruit between 3,000 and 5,000 active club members within its first 18 months of operation. At 4,000 members paying an average of $30 a month, that is $120,000 in recurring revenue hitting the bank account on the first day of every month before a single car even pulls up to the pay station. This membership layer acts like an economic moat. It completely de-risks weather events. If it rains for 2 weeks straight in April, traditional retail revenue drops by 80%, but the subscription revenue stays at 100%. The money is already locked in. In fact, rainy days become a hidden bonus for the operator because members stay home, reducing water and power consumption while keeping their subscription fees locked in. It transformed a chaotic, weather-dependent service into a highly predictable utility that behaves much more like a software-as-a-service company than a physical retail store. When you stack up the entire income statement of a mature express car wash tunnel, the unit economics look almost unreal. Let's break down a typical location processing 200,000 cars a year, a blend of retail single washes and subscription members, generating around $2.4 million in gross annual revenue. First, your direct cost of goods sold, the water, chemical soaps, power, and utility surcharges, takes up roughly 12 to 15% of revenue, or around $310,000. Next is labor. Unlike old-school hand washes that required 20 workers wiping down windshields with microfibers, an express tunnel is almost entirely automated. Drivers pay at automated kiosks, pull onto the conveyor belt guided by 1 or 2 attendants, ride through the tunnel, and pull into a self-serve vacuum plaza where they vacuum their own cars for free. Total labor costs for a team of 4 or 5 shift workers typically run just 10 to 12% of revenue, or around $260,000 a year. Then you have fixed operating expenses. Property taxes and site insurance take about $80,000. Equipment maintenance, replacement brushes, and hydraulic oil drain another $100,000. Marketing and digital advertising to acquire new subscription members take about 6%, or $144,000. Finally, credit card processing fees and administrative software platforms eat up another $70,000. Add up all those operating costs, and you're looking at around $964,000 in total expenses on $2.4 million in revenue. That leaves a massive $1.43 million in EBITDA earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That is a 59% operating profit margin. In the world of physical brick-and-mortar retail, a nearly 60% operating margin is virtually unheard of. So, if the math is this overwhelmingly profitable, why doesn't every real estate investor tear down a strip mall and build a car wash? Why isn't every corner equipped with a spinning foam brush? Because getting one of these locations built is an absolute nightmare of municipal bureaucracy, zoning laws, and spatial engineering. This brings us to the hidden structural barrier that protects existing operators: local real estate scarcity. To run a successful express tunnel, you can't just buy any random plot of land. You need a site with specific physical dimensions. You need at least 0.8 to 1.5 acres of flat land, situated on the hard corner of an intersection that sees at least 25,000 to 40,000 vehicles passing by every single day. But more importantly, you need what the industry calls stacking capacity. Stacking capacity is the amount of physical driveway space on your property reserved for cars waiting to pay and enter the tunnel. If your driveway only holds 5 cars, a sudden surge of traffic creates a spillover onto the main city boulevard. The moment cars start backing up onto a main road, city police issue citations, traffic jams form, and customers instantly abandon the line. A top-tier tunnel site must be long enough to stack 30 to 40 vehicles safely on site before they even touch the automated pay kiosks. On top of the land geometry, city councils actively hate approving new car washes. Neighbors complain about the loud noise generated by 15150 horsepower drying fans running continuously throughout the day. Water districts worry about municipal grid strain, and planning boards often view car washes as visually unappealing steel boxes. Securing the necessary conditional use permits, environmental impact clearances, and high-capacity water utility tie-ins can easily take 18 to 24 months and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal and engineering fees before you even break ground. But ironically, just like we see with billboard regulations, this intense municipal resistance creates a massive defensive moat for anyone who actually gets a site permitted. Once your tunnel is built and operational, the city almost never permits a competing car wash within a 2-mile radius. You hold a localized geographic monopoly on car washing for miles in every direction. Despite these golden margins and regulatory protections, car wash operators still manage to fail. And when they do, it almost always comes down to 3 fatal strategic mistakes. The first cause of failure is predatory debt structuring and bad land leases. Because car washes have such high cash flow, first-time operators often over-leverage themselves, taking out massive 80% or 90% loan-to-value debt packages at floating interest rates to fund construction. If interest rates spike while the site is still ramping up its membership base, the monthly debt service can easily swell from $25,000 a month to $45,000 a month. If the operator doesn't own the underlying land and signed an aggressive triple-net ground lease with steep annual rent escalations, the fixed overhead eats up the gross margin before the tunnel reaches critical scale. The second reason operators fail is poor chemical tuning and equipment neglect. The entire value proposition of an express tunnel relies on speed and damage-free quality. If an operator tries to pinch pennies by cutting back on chemical soap concentrations or running cheap, harsh detergents that leave streaks on glass, retail customers leave negative online reviews and never return. Worse yet, if maintenance staff fail to inspect the tunnel's neoprene foam brushes or conveyor rollers daily, a single loose piece of metal or trapped debris can scratch 30 cars in a row before anyone notices. A single viral video of a car wash damaging vehicles can destroy a local tunnel's reputation and tank its membership base overnight. The final failure point is a complete breakdown in subscriber retention mechanics, what the industry calls churn. Acquiring a new member costs money in digital ads and promotional discounts, like offering the first month for $5. If your site experience is poor, if the free vacuums are clogged, or if the line moves too slowly, members cancel their subscriptions after 2 months. If your monthly churn rate creeps above 7 or 8%, you end up on a treadmill where you are spending all your profit just trying to replace departing members rather than growing the baseline cash flow. Yet, for the operators who master site selection, secure long-term property control, and maintain a disciplined membership acquisition strategy, the payoff scenarios are astronomical. Once an express tunnel pays off its initial equipment loans, Typically, within 4 to 6 years, it turns into a streamlined cash machine that generates hundreds of thousands of dollars in free cash flow with minimal ongoing management oversight. In fact, this exact financial dynamic has caught the attention of the biggest players on Wall Street. Over the past few years, private equity giants like Oak Hill Capital, Leonard Green, and Blackstone have poured billions into the sector, buying up independent single-site tunnels and rolling them up into massive regional chains like Mr. Car Wash and Zips. Why? Because private equity firms love businesses with predictable recurring revenue, high EBITDA margins, and localized real estate dominance. They buy individual car washes from independent founders at 8 to 10 times EBITDA, bundle 50 of them together into a regional brand, and then sell the entire portfolio to institutional investors at 15 to 18 times EBITDA. At its core, a commercial car wash tunnel isn't about soap, brushes, or shiny paint. It is a game of locking down scarce corner real estate, securing local utility and zoning monopolies, and using modern subscription pricing to turn a basic physical chore into an unstoppable, automated river of recurring cash. It's one of the few physical businesses left on Earth where 100 feet of steel pipe, a few smart sensors, and a steady stream of water can transform everyday commuter traffic into millions of dollars of predictable profit, mile after mile, month after month.